Do you have the hardest shot on the team?
Me and Victor usually talk about that a little bit, and I think whenever during games, if you do shoot a hard one, you're always looking at the iPad to see if it shows up, and even Macker now, every time he shoots a hard one, he's always like, oh, that was a bomb.
So the edge statistics, you guys have access right there.
Usually it shows up like on the broadcast. You'll see like in the bottom right corner, it'll tell you how fast the puck goes. But yeah, every time someone shoots the puck hard now, especially on the decor, we're always chirping each other.
There should be a board like in the locker room.
Each other
just keep changing.
Leaderboard, I love it.
Right? So now we can officially get this show on the road. Bolts Nation, once again, we thank our friends at Highlight IPA for powering another amazing. How about a round of applause for Highlight? I mean, they've been powering this thing for the last couple seasons. We thank them so much for sponsoring. But without further ado, it is my pleasure, it is Kobe's pleasure to welcome you here to your defenseman, number 43, Darren Raddysh. Let's go, buddy! Breezeman locked you out on purpose.
I thought he was going to go right through the glass. I thought it was going to be great.
I think Kobe might have had something to do with that door being locked. Kobe.
I wanted to see it body check it open. I got to admit.
Rowdy, man, thank you. I don't feel like it's been that long since we talked to you last over there in Brandon at the Brandon Ice Sports Forum. So thank you again for taking the time in your busy season here. We want to dig into some stuff, but I think it would be appropriate at this time in the season to kind of go over some things where we stand currently, where you stand currently, because I'm curious if you know some of the statistics of where you currently stand. But let's talk about it. We are now 33, 20, and 4 on the season.
Woo, woo, woo.
27 and 2 on home ice. So home ice advantage for us has been pretty strong all season long. We've gotten points now in 8 consecutive games, 7-0-1, with wins in 6. It's obviously our 6th straight, the longest streak of the season. The last time we had a win streak of 6 games was back in 2021. So that was, Cup year. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Good vibes.
The Lightning have won 19 straight games when leading after 2 periods and have improved to 26-1-1 in doing so. So, if that tells us anything, we need to score often and early to keep that statistic going, man. But for you, what do you attribute at this point? Because obviously it's been some up and downs into the season up to this point, but now we seem to be finding our groove. What do you attribute to the things clicking right now? Obviously heading into the Four Nations Cup break, but coming right out of it strong.
I think before that, I think it was January. We didn't do too well. We were scoring goals at will, and kind of we were getting those bounces. And in January it didn't kind of click, but in February I think we kind of found that groove again, and it's kind of gone in for us, and the wins have been coming.
I want to talk about something I love, and I'm sure a lot of people here too love, is the decor, and you have. I think just this group here, and I have so much confidence in the group. We got just a mix of veteran guys. You got Hetty leading the charge, obviously, first year with the C. You guys bring back Mac, and we all know what kind of presence he is. You got a great mix of like young guys and guys like yourself who are your role with the team just keeps increasing. Every year it seems like the team is adding more responsibility to your plate. Can you talk about the decor and just kind of all the different elements of it, and maybe specifically about Mac coming back and what he brings to the table for you guys?
Yeah, I think the decor. It's a tight knit group back there. Anyone can play with anyone, and we're all itching at the bit to play and to get out on the ice, and especially having Mac back there. He's just been a calming force, and you saw the play last night. He had two of the best players in the world going down in a 2-on-1, and Mac slides out there, makes a great play, and the play shut down like that, and I think he's done that all season, and we're just looking forward to the rest of the season with that and into the playoffs. So
what about, I know John Cooper, he's an amazing coach, and something maybe not everybody sees all the time is some of the assistant coaches. And Rob Zettler, he's the guy in charge of the defense. Can you talk to us about him and like his development with you and what makes him such a great D coach?
Yeah. Zet's he's an unbelievable guy. He tries to get the best out of you with everything you're doing, and whether it's offensively, defensively, he's always showing you the things you need to work on, but also showing you the good clips, and he can kind of pick out the good things and the bad things that you do, and try and work on the bad things and try to exploit the good things that you do. So he's an unbelievable coach, and he's been doing this for a long time. He played for a long time, and I think even having that experience of being a player, it helps him a lot on the bench there.
Can you help our fans understand? Because again, we see that you guys play hundreds and hundreds of games, and we know that your practice has kind of been a little crazy this year. You haven't had as much practice because of the crazy schedule that we've had, but when you're going out and you're practicing, or you guys are working on things, like let's say you had a bad game, and so the next game you guys are watching film, you're learning to break things down. But how, as a professional, do you feel that you can get better at things, right? You may have had a bad game, but that's not overall your entire game, so to speak. So what are you normally working on, in those type of one-on-one sessions with your defensive coaches? Is it just specifically, can't be just dynamics. I feel it's like specific plays, specific situations that you're put in. But if you can explain to them, like, what are you actually doing when you're out there practicing on any given game day or before it? You're reading the pre-scouts of what the teams are, you're playing against the next night, and whether it's a man-on-man team or a box-and-one, there's different offensive zone plays, and obviously there's defensive zone plays that you can do to stop them. So whether it's, like I said, man-on-man, the next game it's maybe trying to set picks or trying to get a lot of movement and create that confusion for their team, and whether it's box and one where you're trying to just get the inside on the blue line there and try to get a lot of shots through and try to make their centerman kind of skate all over their defensive zone. I think it was pretty apparent last night. I mean, you guys shut down probably one of the best players in the National Hockey League, and he couldn't. You guys stymied him, like it was remarkable. I truly feel like last night was one of the best games.
I have a friend that's a scout for another team, and I won't mention which team, but he texts me after. He's like, they looked scary right now. They're a team that looks scary in the East. So I think that's a lot of good things for you guys, and a testament to like being able to overcome a little bit of adversity early in the year, and just kind of sometimes you're going to go have those highs and then being able to manage the lows. And I think you guys have kept the right attitude, and the team just seems like it just has so much confidence right now. Do you guys feel that in the room, or do you guys just try to keep a steady state?
I think you try and keep a little bit of both. Like you said, when things are going good, you want to try and keep that, but you can't get too high, and you got to make sure that you're getting ready for the next game and putting that game behind you and getting ready for the next. Is
that Coop though? Like I've had some coaches where if you lose 2 games and you come into the dressing room the next day, man, it feels like they turned all the red lights on. It's just like a panic button. Everyone's panicking, and you got your belt just a little bit tighter, and you just feel like that sweat down your back of your neck because it's just a high pressure situation. Is that one of the things that Cooper's really good at, is just making sure that everyone's kind of relaxed, do your job, get what you need done, and then let's move on and have confidence in yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Even in January there, things weren't going too well, and you come to the rink and you're kind of looking over your shoulder, and you're looking at the video, and you're kind of a little nervous, but he'll walk in there and he's calm, and he's just wants to get the best out of you at practice and in the games, and he's an unbelievable coach. You saw what he did at the Four Nations there, and what they did to come back, and I know, sorry for you Americans that wanted America to win, but
you got some. It's like a little battle over here going on tonight, man.
We had Vasilevsky on last week, and he talked about some of the kind of anxiety and some of the emotions he has after a game. So he'll play a game, and the next night or that night, he's like, I won't sleep. Yeah, I'll be up thinking about the game. I can't slow my brain down. Does that ever happen to you? Do you have problems like just calming down or coming down from a game?
Or just decompressing?
Yeah. I think after games, it might be a little bit too much Red Bull I take during the game, but no, it's definitely a thing for sure. I like to watch my clips after the game and just kind of remember the plays that maybe I wish I had back or stuff that I did good, and just try and watch that, and then I can usually fall asleep a little bit. And sometimes Nige doesn't send them until late, so I might be up till 2-3 in the morning waiting for them. But there's things you can do to try and help you fall asleep, but you just got to get ready for the next day.
Another stat that I thought was absolutely interesting. Hopefully you shed some light on it because we're all dumbfounded by it. Why are we not getting the puck to Luke Glendening more? Because we're 13-0 when he scores a goal.
Yeah,
do you have any answers to that?
No, I don't, but we should be passing him the puck more.
There you go, Glenny. We're coming for you, man. All right, so Darren, I have some stats that I want to get in, some personal stats for you, thanks to our buddy Ben Pierce. I hope you're feeling better, Ben. Just kind of where things stand for you. You have 50 points, which was 8 goals, 42 helpers, 50 points in your first 133 NHL games with the Lightning, which makes you the fastest defenseman in team history to reach 50 NHL points, beating Pavel Kabina, who it took 145 games. So congratulations to you on that one.
Thank you.
I was blown away by that.
That's a pretty amazing statistic. By
I
the way,
did not know that.
Pavel Kabina.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, that's
we
exactly.
talked about that, and I was like, I guarantee he doesn't know that. That's really cool.
It's a very cool statistic. You are second.
We'll send it to Julian Breezewell.
We will. You're second on the team in defensive scoring this season. 3 goals, 20 assists for 23 points. You tied for the franchise record for most assists in the game when you had 5 back in March of last year. In that
most by a D-man, though.
What's that?
Most by a D-man.
Most by a D-man.
Yeah.
Yes. Stems from
that.
And now back in
Every other night,
forwards.
Cooch has 5.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just putting that out there. Yes, you had a shot reach 100.34 miles per hour this season, which was back on February 6th versus Ottawa, which is the 10th hardest shot by any player in the NHL all season. Not only that, you've ripped 24 shots this season of at least 90 miles per hour or more, tied for 9th most in the National Hockey League.
So it begs the question, do you have the hardest shot on the team?
Do you have the hardest shot on the team?
Me and Victor usually talk about that a little bit, and I think whenever during games, if you do shoot a hard one, you're always looking at the iPad to see if it shows up, and even Macker now, every time he shoots a hard one, he's always like, "Oh, that was a bomb."
So the edge statistics, you guys have access right there.
Usually it shows up like on the broadcast. You'll see like in the bottom right corner, it'll tell you how fast the puck goes. But yeah, every time someone shoots the puck hard now, especially on the decor, we're always chirping each other.
There should be a board like in the locker room.
Each other
They
on.
just keep changing.
Leaderboard, I love it.
Right, like a leaderboard. You guys should set that up.
Greg was asking me this earlier, and I didn't really have a great answer for him, but like, what makes like a hard shot? Like, what do you have to do? Is it because sometimes it's not necessarily the biggest guy or the strongest guy that has this bombing shot? Like for you, what do you contribute your hard shot to?
I think it's more the flex of my stick. I use a 95 flex, but I think it's the way you use it. I think I try and put pretty much my whole body weight into my stick when I shoot it, and trying to use the whip of the stick as much as possible. And I do find that when you see someone take a slap shot, you think they're just hitting the puck right away, but you got to try and kind of hit the puck right behind it. The more ice that you take, it kind of slows the puck down, and it is quite noticeable when even like in practice, when the ice is good, you can kind of see when guys are taking slap shots how far back they're hitting the ice before they hit the puck. So it's just trying to hit the puck right behind it and trying to use the flex of your stick.
Did you not know that?
Well, I always like to know other people. I didn't have a super hard shot, I didn't feel like.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a big dude too, right? Because I think, like you just said, maybe there's a misconception that like guys like of your size and Hedman, like they're big dudes, they're going to be ripping it. But I mean,
I'm contributing your hard shot to your great golf swing. That's what I'm.
That's kind of thing where I was getting at.
I was golfing with these guys, and they were talking about hockey players they've golfed with, and this guy's such a great golfer. And I'm like, oh, who have you golfed with? They're like, oh, Darren Raddysh. I golf with him all the time. And I was like, oh yeah, how good was he? He was like, well, he was hitting the par 4s in one. He's got like 300-yard drives.
I think I know
a
who you were
chance to
playing
play
with.
with you, but I thought that was impressive. And then watching both beginnings and your brothers talking about you being a plus handicap and golfing every other day or every day or in the summertime. I thought, that makes sense that a great golfer would also have a hard shot.
Yeah, it's kind of goes hand in hand, golf and hockey.
So if there's a senior tour after hockey, I mean, if your game was good enough, would you even consider doing something like that on the next step of a professional level?
I've definitely thought of it, but I do have some buddies that play on the Corn Ferry Tour and trying to make it to the PGA Tour, and they're
impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah, there's no chance.
So these pro-ams, we've seen these pro-ams, celebrity pro-ams, athlete pro-ams. We know our Alex Killorn, he's played in a few of them.
Yeah.
And so obviously you'd have a great chance to win, just kind of hearing about your game. But if you were trying to pick your caddy for one of these pro-ams from amongst your teammates, who's your caddy? Who are you picking?
We actually talked about this yesterday before the...
We're bringing the hard.
You didn't know that I was in the sauna in the corner? It's in the corner, like listening to these conversations. I got
we actually
questions
talked
for the
about
block
this the other
party.
day. Me and Glennie were talking about Pavelski's setting up a tournament or whatever, and Glennie said, if you ever get invited to this, I want to be your caddy, just because he wants to chirp Pavelski so bad. But I think me and Glennie get along pretty good, and I think I would choose Glennie to be my caddy.
Does Glennie know anything about golf?
I was going to say, does he?
Not too much, but I think it's more the vibes, and he's got some big legs to carry the bag.
Well, talk to us, some
important.
about your teammates. Obviously, again, I thought Lilleberg had a fantastic game last night, and I thought he played fantastic. But again, you're kind of a little bit of an older guy. You're not like the younger guy now, so you've got a little bit more experience under your belt. But talk to us about what you've seen from Emil, what you've liked about his game, and the impact of having JJ back as well.
Yeah, Emil's he's a young kid. He's coming in, and you guys all see it. He throws some of the biggest hits I've ever seen in hockey, and just coming in and being so steady, and going up against a lot of good hockey players that have been doing this for a long time. It's been impressive, and having JJ back, it's like I said, it's kind of like Mac having a good calming presence, and JJ's I think an underrated skater, and he's got a great stick, and he just comes in and he fits in so well with our decor.
Does Lily talk much? Is he a big talker?
No English, no.
No English at all?
I say that to him all the time, just no English.
That's just what his reply is?
Yeah.
That's great.
No English.
No English.
We wanted to get him on the block party, but Breezer's like,
He does speak English, but he has some trouble sometimes.
Okay.
Well, is it like the Russians? Like, I know a lot of Russians when they first come over and they're getting yelled at by the coach, and they just like, no English. And then you see them later and they're like talking perfect English, and you're like, I thought you had no English. I'm like, just when the coach is yelling at me.
Exactly, yeah.
So one of the funnier videos this season that the Lightning Vision crew put together was around the holidays with good old St. Nick Paul. And St. Nick Paul was handing out gifts for the holiday season, and he thought it would be funny to give you a hairbrush. And so just curious, have you used said hairbrush on your new dog? Has that become a new dog hairbrush for Rory?
We didn't even use it on her. She just chewed it apart.
As for you, Nick Paul.
I think it was literally within that day I brought it home, it was done, and I think all the bristles were gone, and it was chewed in half.
Yeah, so. I don't think Kobe knew that you have a new girl, golden retriever named Rory.
Yeah.
We just saw in the Bolts beginning. She's absolutely adorable. But is it almost like having a child in the house as a baby, going through everything and getting through everything? Like, how's that been for you?
Yeah, that she's kind of into everything, like you saw in the video. She's chewing on the rocks and some of the plants, and she's pooping and peeing all over the house, and that's kind of the biggest thing that drives me nuts. But she's still a puppy, and she's learning, and I think she's pretty smart for her age, so she'll get the hang of it.
I know a lot of the guys have dogs. Do you guys have like lightning play dates with the dogs, where all the dogs get together? And Anthony Cirelli's dog is the worst of them all. Like,
no, I did text Cirelli the one day when I was on Davis Island to go hang out with Max and him, and when I actually first got Rory, we brought her over to Glennie's house to go see Pepper, and Pepper's a Great Dane, and Rory was yay big, and she actually scared Pepper a little bit there, so I knew she was a good dog when she did that.
That's fantastic, man. I also did a little digging onto your social media. I mean, you're not crazy engaged on social media, but congratulations on your nuptials back in August last year. Fantastic.
Thank you.
What's changed?
Not a lot, no, nothing.
But I did notice your brother looked like he was giving a speech, and he had a bald cap on his head, right? So,
yeah.
I was like, well, what? I mean, is he trying to impersonate his brother? So I was trying to figure out what was the story behind your brother with the bald cap on. What was he trying to accomplish with that?
Yeah, he when he first went for his speech, we were all sitting at the table, and on the microphone you could hear him talking, and we didn't know where he was. We couldn't see him. There was kind of some trees behind the tent, and he starts his speech saying, Darren, I've always looked up to you, and I've always wanted to be just like you. And he comes out behind the tree and he goes, now I can actually look like you. And it was too bad that he wasn't still with Chicago, and he's with Washington now, and they have a great team. But he actually was going to shave his head. He told me that right after. He said, I was going to shave my head if I was still with Chicago. He goes, I didn't want my new pictures with my new team to be, kind of in that awkward stage with my hair. But I kind of wish he was still with Chicago just so I could see what he looks like bald. But yeah, it was a funny moment, and I think everyone in the entire wedding got a good chuckle out of that.
It was great.
Would you have a small smile on your face if next summer he comes back and he's like, man, my hair is just thinning a little bit? Would you?
I don't think his hair is going to thin at all. It's thick as could be.
He got the different gene?
Yeah.
So when I was watching Bolts beginning, I was just this is one thing that stuck out to me big time is, your family was amazing, your brothers, your friends, and the common theme that I took from the whole thing was everyone talked about, looking up to you and saying, Darren took care of me. Darren looked out for me. Darren was just the guy, and I think you have that big brother, father figure type of personality and just a very calm guy and cerebral. Who do you look up to and who do you go to when you need something?
I think I've always looked up to my dad. He's kind of, like you said, kind of the father figure for me, and I just try and pass that along to whoever I encounter with, and yeah, he's always been there for my brother and I, whether it's driving us to hockey and lacrosse or whatever we were doing, and he always made sure we had the best equipment. We always had everything we needed to be successful, and there's nothing that we couldn't do because of him. So. Yeah, I think that's probably my biggest role model if I had to choose one.
I love the grandma's lightning bolt earrings too.
Oh yeah,
she's fantastic.
Your grandma's great.
Oh, she's awesome, man.
Georgetown looks like an amazing place, by the way. Just really cool hometown you grew up in, and seems like it was just a fantastic childhood for you and your brother.
Yeah, it definitely was. We still have a lot of friends there today, and the last few summers I've went back there and lived there in the summertime, and yeah, it was a great little town outside of Toronto. When I used to play in Toronto, actually, they thought I was kind of like a little bit of a hick because I was a little bit out of town, and everything around Georgetown was all farm fields. So they thought I was some farmer when I came into Toronto to play hockey.
So does it ever get a little heated on the course when you go back, with the family and friends and get on the golf course? I mean, has it ever gotten to blows, or is it just chirping?
No, I think even in the Bolts Beginnings video there was a little comment.
You said there was.
Yeah, my brother and I, when we were younger, we used to fight all the time, and it did come to blows one time. We on the sixth hole we dropped our bags and started throwing punches, and I'm pretty sure there was people on the other green there looking at us like, what are these two guys doing?
Was he cheating, or were you cheating, or can you remember, or just a chirp?
I can't remember. It was probably just we looked at each other and we wanted to beat each other up, kind of thing. So.
That's why he got into hockey, so he can fight. It's part of the game.
So if you had your dream foursome, who's on that trip? Where are you guys playing?
Dream foursome. I'm definitely going to take my brother.
Okay.
I'm going to take Rory McIlroy.
So you named your dog after him.
Yeah. And
what about a classic?
Maybe Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah,
just because I think he's
the legend,
one of the GOATs. So.
Yeah.
I also noticed.
And where are we playing?
Yeah, where are you guys playing? Where's your dream course?
I don't even know. No, not Scotland. No. I'd probably just say at my home course where Bolts Beginnings was.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite place to go
that
in the
course
summertime.
well, obviously, like the back of your hand too. It's almost like cheating when you know.
True sandbagger right there.
For real. I did also notice on your socials you were on a trip. With a boat crew of some sort, and you were a chef dressed in Crocs. First, did Braden Point give you those Crocs? Did he gift them to you? And secondly, are you like a chef on like the side that we don't know about?
I do like to cook at home, yeah. I'm not very good.
Okay.
I need to follow recipes. I can't kind of wing it. I need to make sure I'm following that. But no, that we had I think it was a 50th birthday party for one of our friends. And it was kind of like a theme, like everyone had to choose a theme. And Selena and I, we really are into Below Deck and kind of watching those shows.
Too,
and
yeah.
So we said, yeah, why don't we do that? So her family, we all got the outfits, and I think I was just chosen to be a chef. And
You nailed it. I was convinced.
I wanted to be the captain, but her mom and dad said that was their spot, so I went with the chef.
Who's the worst golfer on our team currently?
Gani.
So that's why he wants to be a caddy,
Yeah.
because he knows he doesn't have it. What's your favorite course in Tampa to play?
Probably say Pelican.
You played there?
Guys are members there.
Never heard of it.
He's like, no, I don't even know what that is.
I remember.
So before we get into our staff questions, just a couple more, and then we've got the hat trick as well. And you don't seem to be like the clown guy. We know it's Nick Paul on the team and Cirelli and those guys, but what's the best prank you've ever seen in all of your hockey years ever pulled off?
I'd honestly say last year it happened to me. Yeah,
Do
we were in Vegas, and Hayden Fleury actually cut my shoelaces and stole my golf shirt. And we were at practice, and he wasn't skating that day. He was injured, so came off the ice and I go into my stall after I got undressed and had a shower and looking, my shoelaces are gone, and I didn't have a golf shirt and kind of was panicking. The bus was in 5 minutes, and I didn't want to go out there without a shirt. We were in Vegas, and it probably would fit in there, to be honest. But yeah, I quickly, I went to the trainers and said, "Hey, do you guys have a golf shirt?" So I grabbed a team issued polo, put it on, and I got a lot of flack for that. So I'd say that was probably the best one to me for sure.
Paybacks. You've heard a lot of Cooperisms, as we all have in your time in the locker room. What's one of the Cooperisms that sticks with you the most?
I don't know. I think one of my favorite ones would be, I think we won a game this year, and we shouldn't have won the game, and he comes in and he goes, "Well, boys, sometimes the team that shouldn't have won, and the team that should have won didn't, and that was us tonight." And then he just walked out, and that was it. So I think that's probably the funniest one that I've heard from him.
What was your thoughts on the Four Nations? Obviously, we all got entrenched in it, and I think the hockey world gained a lot of new fans from it. But obviously, we'd love to get the take of the players because it's still so recent in our minds. But what was your take of the tournament, the fights to start it? Just give us the whole lowdown on what you thought of it.
Well, first off, I thought it was great. The right team won, and I think that's how it should be. But no, I think it was great. Just seeing how many people were engaged in it, and just seeing the best players in the world going and doing their thing. And I had buddies that don't even watch hockey, and they were texting me asking, what do I do? Where do I go? Like, where should I go watch this game and stuff like that. So, I think it was great for the game. I think, having the Olympics and the World Cup every 2 years will be great for hockey. And,
Yep.
It was just a great tournament overall.
Shifting back to the Lightning here, the trade deadline is quickly approaching, and this team is firing on all cylinders right now. What does this team need? Do they need anything? Or do you guys feel super confident in the group you guys have right now going into the playoffs?
I think we're confident in with the guys we have. You can always add a few guys here and there, and I think that's up to the general managers and the coaches to make that decision. You're going to just go out and do your best with whatever you're doing, and I think it's up to them to make those decisions.
Solid. All right. Before we get to the hat trick, we have some questions from our audience. Jay will walk around once we call your name. Jay will hand you the mic to ask the questions. Well, Blair, you're going to be up first here. Blair, you want to ask your question for Darren?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Why do they call you the bald eagle?
That started from Stammer. Before the game one time, he just kind of said it when they were doing the starting lineup, and I think it was on the TV was doing the video before the game, and it kind of got out there, and it was more of a joke here and there, but I hear it from time to time now. And actually, Glennie called me the other day. He saw a bald eagle on the bay shore, and he just thought that was funny that there was a bald eagle up there. So,
Raddy, there you are. Goodbye.
It's ironic, too, because he's Canada and they're calling you Bald Eagle. Thomas Schooley, where's my man Thomas at tonight? Right here in the front. What's your question for Raddy, Tommy?
What was it like playing with Taylor here, and do you still keep up with him in Washington?
it was awesome. We got to play 3 years in junior together, and to play in the NHL, it was something that we never imagined. And getting to play against him now, it's fun, but at the same time, it's a little nerve-wracking. You want him to do well, and you want the team to do well at the same time. So, we got a big game on Saturday against them, and I'm going to try and put him over the bench like it happened to him last night.
We would love to see that. I mean, it would be epic if we saw that.
How'd your mom feel about that? If you just smoked him and he's just laying there, it's like, oh.
She actually texted us during the first Canada-US game, and she texted both of us in a group chat, and she said, "Thank God you guys are not playing, because I'd be so nervous right now for how many big hits and all the fights that were going on. She couldn't watch it."
Can you imagine? They just fighting each other. It'd be amazing. All right, Annette. Where is Annette at? Right here, Jay. All right, Annette, what is your question for Darren?
So my question, is this on?
Yep.
So when you are on the bench or you're on the ice, are you always thinking about the game and your next play?
Yes and no. During the TV timeouts, you kind of take a break, and I do like watching the Jumbotron and some of the things that go on there.
We always wonder that. Do you guys pay attention to video pieces and the game, the old timers versus the young guys? You guys do pay attention to that stuff?
A little bit.
Okay.
I think my favorite one is the Snackwards cam. I think that's usually the
I
funniest
will let
one
them
all
know
the
that.
time.
You
Yeah.
make sure that Steven knows that.
We're always laughing on the bench when there's some funny ones. So
There's good ones last night.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
really good. You know what that is? The Snackwards
The
camp?
hot dogs are my favorite. Those are the
hot dogs
funniest.
are the best.
I just always regretted that the kiss cam, sometimes they show the opposing players,
Yeah.
And I just always wanted an opportunity just to give my D partner a big kiss on the belly, It's like,
You're on your own on that one,
Yeah,
Kobe.
maybe we could do podcasters.
Jessica, where are you at? Jessica, of course, she's all in the back corner, Jay. You got to run. Jessica, what is your question for Mr. Raddysh?
Who on the team would you have as your emergency contact, and who on the team would you last have as your emergency contact?
That's funny. Last would probably be Braden Point, just because he wouldn't pick up the phone. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd probably say him. My emergency contact, you have to probably go with some of the older guys. I'd say Hetty or Mac. Those guys they're pretty reliable, and they're always here at a quick call.
Maybe just don't go to Hetty for advice, as we've learned.
I had this conversation with my wife yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So
she was mad because she had called me a couple times and I'd missed the call, and so she came home and she was like, "You are off. You're not my emergency phone call anymore." So this morning I'm walking the dogs, and one of the dogs goes to the bathroom. So I got the bag on the hand, I got the leash in the other hand, and she's calling, and I'm panicking, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to screw up here. I got to answer this phone. It was terrible,
Well,
terrible.
Now you know.
But Braden Point for sure.
Solid.
He's definitely not in my emergency phone
Definitely
call.
not. No.
Riley, where are you at, Riley?
Yes.
What's your question for Darren?
So this is on behalf of my daughter, who plays 12U hockey, same league as Coburn's daughter. She wants to know, what is the hardest thing to defend? What is the hardest situation as a defenseman to defend?
I think that was probably last night when McDavid's coming full speed at you. But I'd probably say just when the defenseman's not gapped and the forwards are coming down full speed, it's probably the hardest thing to do. And you just got to kind of pivot and head right back to the net and try and cut off the angle as much as possible.
If we put a mic on you, are you saying anything on the ice? Like, oh crap, here we go, get it back, Vasi, get ready.
I sometimes, I remember the one game, I think it was this year, it was against Ottawa, and I was kind of the middle defenseman skating backwards, and the guy was coming down to me, and I literally turned around and I said, oh shit, this is bad. And luckily they didn't score, but I'm not too vocal when it comes to things like that.
That's great to know that's what they're really saying on the ice. All right, Laura, Sticks of Fire. Where are you at, Laura? Laura, right here. Sticks of Fire, what do you got?
I'm trying to remember my question because it was a really long one.
Superstitious.
What is your biggest superstition, and how or what do you do to prepare before a game, like in your routine, based on that superstition?
My biggest superstition, I have a lot of them, but kind of the stupidest one I have is when we play soccer. I always do the same like moves. I'll try and kick it with a certain foot or try and do some different moves in soccer, and I'm not very good at it, so it takes me a little while to do it, and I'll be out there for 20-30 minutes just trying to make sure I do all the stuff, and some of the guys have caught on now, and they're giving me a lot of crap for that.
How does that even come to fruition? Like, how does that become a superstition? Like, I don't understand that.
I don't even think it's a superstition. I just do it now. Yeah, it happened the one day, and maybe you played a good game, and you
got
just,
5 assists. You're
yeah,
like,
you
I
just
do
got
this
to
every
keep
day.
doing that. So, I think that's probably my biggest one.
All right, Allison and Luis, where are you guys at for our final question before we get into the hat trick? It's a good question, too.
Yeah. What song pumps you up before a game?
Probably just like the big booty mixes. I'm not...
Booty mixes?
Big booty mixes.
Oh, I thought you
don't know if
said
ever heard
booty.
it.
I was like, Booty and the Blowfish has a mixtape?
I'm
Booty.
I'm not too particular with music, and I kind of go with the flow. But yeah, I think any techno EDM stuff will get me going.
Get you
for
pumped
games.
up.
What is that one? Fly like an eagle.
Yeah. All right, Ratty. So the hat trick is these are AI-generated questions, which Kobe and I really don't know what's what. So what we ask from you is to give us 3 numbers, 1 through 100, that mean something to you. It could be your player number, your brother's, like your birthday, whatever. 3 numbers, 1 through 100.
28, 96, and we'll go 43.
All over the place. All right, 28. Interesting. How do you handle changes in team dynamics?
Changes in team dynamics.
Yeah, I don't know. This is an AI question. You got to blame the computer on that one. So if there's a change in maybe, I guess you could put that in like a scheme or just like a different lineup or, just team dynamics. I mean, how do you adjust?
I think just being a professional, that's how hockey is, and there's whether it's during the game or it's in practice. There's stuff's going to change. Guys will get hurt, or some guys might be playing well or not having their best that night. But you gotta adjust, and that's part of being a professional hockey player. It's like I said, yeah, it's probably one of the toughest things to do. But you got to manage that well, and you got to be ready for it.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're at a team meal, and the check comes. Who is the last guy to reach for that check?
Haven't had a lot of that this year. We like to play a crocodile game to see who the check is. But yeah, I think the group of guys I go with, we're not like that. We all want to contribute to the bill and do all that stuff.
All right, our final
Can't throw anyone
question.
under the bus right now.
How do you handle fatigue during a long playoff series?
You just got to make sure you're recovering well. Doing the stuff that gets you back into being 100%. Whether it's cold tubbing, taking care of your body, stretching. That's probably the biggest thing when it comes to playoff hockey. You're getting a little sore for that. So yeah, I think it's just doing all the right things that you do throughout the season to continue doing that in the playoffs.
Well, we hope that is the very beginning right now of the playoff push that we're on, and you guys continue to go on this streak that we're on right now. And we have a deep run ahead of us to the midsummer. Would be fantastic to see that again. But
Yeah.
we thank you so much again for taking
Thank
the
you.
time. We know you guys are focused. It's been a good week.
And I think Raddy's a past recipient of the block party bump, by the way.
You
so
were.
Yeah.
You
we're
remember
looking for
that?
big things tomorrow.
Yeah, so
Score
tomorrow,
my first goal that next week.
That's
so.
right. That's
Let's
right.
keep it
So-
going. So yeah, he was a part of the block party bump in that whole trek. So thank you so much for joining us. How about another round of applause, Darren Raddysh? Thank you to our friends at High Lie IPA for powering another live show. We will have One more live show in March, and obviously we'll let you guys know as soon as we know when we're going to put that on. But that'll be the last live show until the playoffs are almost here. So again, thank you to Highlight. Thank you to all of you. We're going to have Darren sign some stuff, so hopefully you guys got your blue tickets, and we'll find out who's going to be a winner. But for all y'all at home, we will see you guys next week on another episode of the Bolts Block Party.